Hey guys, Mr. T here for another video. I know it's been a couple weeks since I posted my last one. Been super busy with the job and trips to Disneyland and all this other stuff. Had to throw that little brag in there. So, today's video is a fun one. I was actually watching another video on Instagram and they posted some stuff about some lower stage evolution Pokemon, and it got me thinking. And I started looking at it and I'm like, you know what? There's some Pokemon evolution lines out there where the stage one I actually like better than its evolved forms. And I thought, let's do a video on that. So the way I did it is I picked, this is a list of 12, technically 11, and I'll to explain that here in a second. But these are 12 Pokemon, 11 Pokemon, who I like their stage one evolution better than all of their evolutions in a single line. And I say single line because there is one or two Pokemon on here that they have a branching evolution tree, and I'll explain that. So I like them better than their one line, but maybe not the other line. Now the rule is simple. Regardless of whether it's a 2-stage or a 3-stage evolution, I have to like the stage one better than all of the evolutions in that line. So if I like their stage one better than stage 3, but not better than stage 2, I didn't count that towards this. I said that was fine. Now, there are a couple on here that I know for a fact are going to throw some people off, maybe even make some people angry, and they might want to try to fight because of this opinion. Remember, it's an opinion. It's my opinion. If you don't like it, well, then that's you, okay? Not everyone can have a good opinion. I'm talking about you. Okay? And I do want to preface this right off the bat. A couple of the Pokemon in here, it's not that I hate their stage 2 or stage 3 evolutions. There's one where I love their stage 3 evolution. I just like the stage 1 more. So it's not necessarily that I hate the later stages. I just like the earlier stage better. For some. There's others that I just don't like. So my first one, number 12, and this is the little caveat one. So Floette. Now here's the thing. Floette, I like better than Florges. And I put this one on here specifically because this is the only stage 2 Pokemon in a 3-stage line that I could think of that I liked better than its stage 3. Every one of the other ones that I picked, it was this first stage that I liked better. To me, I don't think Flabby or Floette should have evolved anymore. It should have went Flababy or Flabibi or however you pronounce it, and then Floette, and then cut it and done. And I don't know if this is I thought at first it was a little biased because of the new Pokemon game Legend ZA coming out with the Floette and all that and the Mega Evolutions. And if you haven't played it yet, I'm sorry for the spoiler on that one, but who cares? But then I went back to my Sword and Shield game, or my Scarlet and Violet games, and I collected every color of Floette, and I didn't evolve them. I evolved one just to put in my Pokedex. But, then I went back even further, and I opened up one of my Omega Ruby games, and again, I had a bunch of Floettes. I never evolved. So it wasn't just Legend ZA I was biased because of this. I've always liked Floette better than Florges. I don't know what it is about Florges' design. There's sometimes that I actually forget that Floette even evolves into Florges. So that was the one little special caveat. The rest of my list, it's going to be the stage 1 Pokemon that I like better. So my number 11. Oh, and the way that I ranked the rest of these, Floette I just put up as my last one just because it's a special case. But the way I ranked the rest of these is based on how I like that stage 1. So it's not only like which stage 1s I like better, but it's a little bit of a mini ranking list too. So this is the order in which I like the stage 1 Pokemon. That's how I picked my order. So for my number 11, it is Snorunt. Specifically the Froslass line. I do like Glalie more than Snorunt, so that's why I didn't put Glalie on here. But I'm not a big fan of Froslass. And Frostlass's Mega actually was pretty cool. I thought they did a great job with the Mega, but it wasn't like an, oh my god, this is an amazing kind of thing. It was just a minor improvement. So I really like Snorunt better. He's got that cute little outer shell that looks like he's got a coat on, that he's all, super cold and trying to keep warm and everything. And I thought Snorunt and Glalie was a great combo, and I don't know why they brought Froslass in. They should have honestly given Froslass its own evolutionary line. Now, my next two, I know for a fact that there's going to be some people out there that get upset over this, but it's my opinion. My number 10 is Snivy. Snivy, however you pronounce it. I like Snivy better than Servine or Serperior. Serperior comes close, don't get me wrong. This is one of those where I don't hate Serperior. I think it's a pretty decent Pokemon, but I don't like how he lost his legs and arms. You know what I mean? It was kind of like a Dratini in reverse almost. And I think Snivy looks cool. It reminds me a little bit of Trico from the olden nostalgia days. And I just think he's so much better than his evolution forms. Right? Now my next one might get some hate. Hopefully some people agree with me. But my next one is Tepig or T-Pig or Typig. I call it Tepig. Tepig is this cute little pig Pokemon. And then he evolves into garbage. I hate Emboar. Like, I don't know what it is. Like, if he was his own Pokemon, he wouldn't be that bad. But evolving from Tepig, I just don't like him. I picked him in my second playthrough of Pokemon Legends ZA solely because I wanted to pick Squirtle to get Blastoise as my secondary. So I wanted to have a little bit of a differentiation in my typing, but it's like I'm not a fan of Emboar. I almost didn't evolve Tepig and just left him as is. Like, I was that close to doing it. Tepig's is a great Pokemon. I'm so glad they picked him as one of the starters for ZA. But Emboar and Pignite, I'm not even going to bother with Pignite because Pignite's just trash. But Emboar's not that great. Again, if he was his own line with someone else, maybe had an evolution that looked a little bit like him, I don't know. I've never been a fan of Emboar, even going back to the original Black and White games. Now, my next one, I don't know how people are going to feel about this. I have a feeling, this like gut feeling that some people might actually agree with me on this one because of the lore or something behind it. And the next one is Cubone. I like Cubone better than Marowak. Both Marowaks, actually. Alolan Marowak I actually like better than Kanto Marowak, so Alolan Marowak does kind of close that gap to Cubone. But I've always liked Cubone. It's always been a cool Pokemon. I love the theory of Cubone where it's technically a Charmander that lost its mother and its tail went out. But instead of dying, it turned into a Cubone. And there have been some theories on this because like when Cubone takes its mask off, it almost looks like a Charmander. So I think that's kind of cool. But Cubone's always been this cute, amazing Pokemon, and I've always loved it. And it's always been one of my favorites. All right? Now, my next one shouldn't come as a surprise to anyone who knows me, because I actually really love this Pokemon, and that's Rattata. Okay, or Rattata, however you want to pronounce it. I've never been a fan of Raticate. I mean, Rattata, however you want to say it. I mean, I love his design. I think he's a great Pokemon, and I've even mentioned this on previous videos. He is one of my more favorite Pokemon. Like, I'm not putting him in like a top 10 list, but he's definitely gonna be one of my up there Pokemon. Like, if I wanted to play a game or rank some side Pokemon that maybe aren't top 10, and I'm not gonna like go out of my way to buy like merchandise for them, but they're still up there in some of my favorite category, Rattata is always going to be one of them. Now, I know for a fact this one is going to probably be my biggest hate on this list, and it's going to be the one that most people will probably disagree with me. But my next one, and again, this is one of those, I'm prefacing this before I even get to it. I don't hate its evolve forms. I actually like its evolve forms. It's stage 3. Its stage 2 isn't bad. It's stage 2 I'm more neutral on, but I love its stage 3 evolution. Its stage 3 evolution is one of the more perfect designed Pokemon, and this evolutionary line is one of the better evolutionary lines in Pokemon. I just like the stage 1 better, right? And that's Mudkip. I know, some people are thinking, how on God's earth am I going to put Mudkip over Swampert? Who knows? Some of you might actually agree with me. You might like Mudkip and the little axolotl face and all that. But, you know, Marshtomp is neutral. Like, I don't hate Marshtomp. I'm not going to go out of my way to like him, but he's a decent Pokemon. Swampert is amazing. I love Swampert. I like Blaziken and Sceptile more, but I love Swampert. The Hoenn trio is the best trio of all time. Even better than the Kanto trio. Not by much. I mean, it's neck and neck, don't get me wrong. But a trio as a whole, I'm going to put the Hoenn trio above them. So Swampert is amazing. I just like Mudkip better. He's got a cuter design. He looks cooler, you know. And again, I think Mudkip compared to Trico and Torchic is a much closer gap in my mind. I might even argue that I might like Mudkip better than like Torchic or something. but Swampert is definitely third on the Hoenn list. So Mudkip is actually probably 2. I could even argue Mudkip is number 1. Like, depending on the day, I might put Mudkip above Trico. But I've never once put Swampert above Sceptile or Blaziken. Again, I love Swampert. He's one of my top, arguably probably one of my top 25 favorite Pokemon of all time. And this evolutionary line, one of the most well-designed evolutionary lines in history of Pokemon. I just like Mudkip better. All right? Now, this next one should not come as a surprise. I have said this time and again. I have brought this up in multiple videos. I've even brought it up in videos it probably shouldn't have even been brought up in. But my next one and my number 5 is Quaxly. I have not been quiet about this, and I have mentioned this before. I've even made a few Instagram posts on this about this. I hate Quaxquaval and Quaxwell. All right? Quaxly is an amazing Pokemon. He's like my 3rd or 4th favorite water starter, one of my top 10 favorite starters in general, and he is just an amazing Pokemon. As far as Generation 9 starters, he's my favorite. Stage 1 starters, right? Fuecoco and Sprigatito are awesome too, but I love Quaxly. And then it evolved into garbage. And not just the visual design. When you start seeing Quaxquaval actually start moving and dancing and actually battling, it was cringe central. And I know some of you are thinking, oh my God, did he really just say cringe? Yes, I did. That's how cringy it is. I love Quaxly. Quaxquaval is garbage. They could have done so much better. Some of the fan arts I've seen for Quaxly's evolutions were amazing. I do think Pokemon dropped the ball on this. Quaxquaval, honestly, is one of my least favorite water stage 3 starters. All right? So I love Quaxly. Now, my next one, I kind of cheated a bit, but it's my list and it's my YouTube account, so whatever. And that is Vulpix. Okay? And I actually put both of them. I love Vulpix, and again, this is one of those, just like Mudkip and Swampert, I do not hate Ninetales. Ninetales is a phenomenal Pokemon. I love Ninetales. Probably a top 50 Pokemon for me out of 1,025. So Ninetales is great. I just really like Vulpix better. Both of them, the Alolan and the Kanto ones. I think it's a much cuter Pokemon. It looks cooler. Plus, honestly, because I've always had, Charizard and Blaziken and all these other fire Pokemon on my teams, I've never really used Vulpix enough to the point where I evolved it into a Ninetales and then used Ninetales. So that's part of it. I have used Alolan Vulpix on a team before, and I've evolved it into Alolan Ninetales. So I think if I were to pick, Alolan Ninetales comes a lot closer to my favorite over Alolan Vulpix than the Kanto one. Kanto Vulpix is easily better than Kanto Ninetales. Alolan Ninetales might actually be better than Alolan Vulpix, but it's close. Again, I don't hate Ninetales. This is not hate in any way for Ninetales. Both Ninetales are some of the coolest Pokemon out there. Top 50, easily. You can maybe make an argument for top 30. I just like the Kanto versions better. Okay? Now, this next one, I love. Again, this is one of those, I'm not like, I like his evolution, okay? And I like the general design and the concept of this Pokemon and how it evolves. I just like the first stage better. And that's Ralts, specifically his Gallade line. Yes, his, because only a male Ralts can evolve into a Gallade. I like Ralts better than Kirlia in general, whether it's Gardevoir or Gallade. But I like Gallade, but Gardevoir is so much better. I just better design, and I feel like they could have, Gallade looks really well with this evolutionary line, but it looks like it's an afterthought. Gardevoir clearly looks like it should be part of this evolutionary line. Gallade looks like something they threw in after the fact. Gallade almost looks like it might have been a mega evolve of a male Gardevoir or something, and it doesn't necessarily look like it should actually be part of this line. Again, it's like teetering. It looks like something you made after the fact, not something that was originally supposed to be there. And again, I don't hate Gallade. I'm not going to say he's like a top 30 or top 20 Pokemon for me. He's a decent Pokemon. And if I need a psychic or a fighting type Pokemon, I'll pick Gallade. I like Ralts better. I think Ralts is better, and I think Gardevoir fits this evolutionary line better. Now, for my final two, this should come as no surprise whatsoever because I've always talked about these two and I've always had nothing but great things to say about these. And my number two is Gimme Ghoul. I almost put him as my number one, by the way. It was very close. But I like Goldingo, but Gimme Ghoul, I mean, I've said this before. If you've watched any of my other videos, I've mentioned it before. Gimme Ghoul is so cute. I love the gimmick. And normally I hate those where you got to go and collect a whole crap ton of something to get something like this, like the grind like this. I actually didn't mind it. No, part of it was because if you find the Gimme Ghoul chests, then you could get a lot more, and then you have that guy in like that coastal city who would give you some coins and all that. And I can't remember the exact name of it. I'm blanking off the top of my head 'cause it's been a little while since I played Scarlet and Violet. But I love Gimme Ghoul. I'm actually currently trying to collect 1,000 or 999 Gimme Ghoul cards, Pokemon cards, and I'm gonna put them in a binder. And the very last card, the number 1,000 card, is gonna be a Goldingo. So I think that's kind of a cool little thing my son and I are working on. But I love Gimme Ghoul. Again, Goldingo is a decent Pokemon, and I really like how Goldingo in the Pokedex is number 1,000. And the concept is you need to get 1,000 Gimme Ghoul coins to evolve him into a Goldingo. So I love how they did that. I really hope in future games they let you capture the regular Gimme Ghoul form, the one right there in the middle of the screen, instead of just the chest. Like I know in Pokemon Go you can, but I wish they would let you do that in the regular games. And then my number one, this one shouldn't come as a surprise. I've even ranked him as my number one stage 1 starter or stage 1 Pokemon from an evolutionary line, and that's Timber. I mean, Conkeldurr just looks clunky and kind of eh. Girder looks not bad. I honestly, I think if I were to rank these in order my favorite, I would flip it around. It would go Timber, Girder, and then Conkeldurr. So I love Timber, and the cards for Timber, especially the ones that have come out recently, where he's like helping around building a house and stuff. He's just such a cool Pokemon. He's a cute Pokemon. I like the little log that he has. And he's always been one of my favorites. Easily one of my favorite Unova Pokemon of all time. Okay? So that's my list. Those are some Pokemon that I like better than their later stage evolution forms. I hope some of them, like the Mudkip one, didn't totally throw you off. But yeah, so as always, stay tuned for more videos. My next one's going to be a non-Pokemon one, so keep tuned for that. And, yeah, go play some Legends ZA. I think it's a lot better than people are giving them out to be. It's not perfect. I think Legends Arceus is still better, but it was a much better game than most people were playing or giving it out to be. All right? So go give it a try if you haven't already. So, peace, stay beautiful, Americans, and see you at the next video.